when you're doing something, whatever you're doing, whatever task, whatever project you're doing, have a mind behind the mind of whatever you're doing. And if you live your life that way, you're going to execute everything with precision and effectiveness. So what I mean by that is a mind behind the mind is that so many people, you're capable of so much more. You have so much more built inside of you than what you know about yourself. And that's one of the things I like about God, is that He teaches you through testing and trials and through hardship, shows you your potential to overcome, shows you your potential of how strong you are, right? Your resilience. And so many people, the bar is so very low, and what they think they could accomplish, either for God or for even themselves in terms of goals. And one thing that God has shown me in my personal life, coming from that arena, I used to be an individual that I used to second guess myself, doubt myself. I started off my walk with God from the pit of hell. That's where He recovered me. And so when He did that, you know, when you're all the way down there, you have no anything. You don't have confidence. You don't have... I used to go, this will tell you a lot. I used to go by the nickname, the tag, called Ghost. And it sounded cool to a lot of people. They were like, they made up why, it would tell me why they thought that I named myself Ghost. And with that, I get it. I know why you called yourself Ghost. You call yourself Ghost because you move like this, and you move like that, and you think. I call myself Ghost because I felt like I was dead. Simple as that. Like I didn't exist, like I existed, but nothing more than that. It's sad, right? I agree. But that's where I come from. So Ghost, it doesn't really even believe he has even a name, right? I felt like I was nameless, homeless. And I only say that to say this. If He did that for me, He took me from there and started showing me you do have value. I don't create garbage. I don't create trash. I put in stuff inside of you. You don't even know what you got inside of you. I'm going to teach you what you got inside of you. God didn't tell me these things. He showed me these things, right? With time. And you know, He did a lot of it through love. You know, the Bible says God is love. First thing God showed me, revealed to me, was I mattered. And I recall a time where nobody would pay attention to me when I spoke. I bring up the shameful things, guys. The shameful things are the things that people try to put under the rug, and they try not to talk about it because it's shameful. And they always want to broadcast themselves out to be stars and all that kind of stuff. Nah, man. I'm going to tell you the truth, the transparent truth. There was a point in time where, as a drug addict, I lost my identity, but even more than that, I lost my voice. And when I would speak, not a lot of people would take me serious. And everything I said, it would be ignored. I remember talking to my brother-in-law and other people, and I would ask a question and I wouldn't even really receive an answer in return. And it was demoralizing to me. I was trying so hard to be something I wasn't, that I got lost in that realm, and I didn't see a way out. After a while, it just became misery. I played the role of being a gangster and a thug for over 15 years of my life. I did violent acts. I stole a lot. I did a lot of drugs, and the drugs was what fueled the lifestyle. The drugs fueled the demons. It gave them material to work with. Because when I was sober, I found myself being an individual that didn't mean you any harm, you know what I'm saying? Just wanted to play video games, wanted to go to the mall, walk around, wanted to talk and be friendly. The drugs, man, made me into a monster. It was like flipping a switch. I became a person that I didn't even recognize. It was because demons were behind it. So when as years pile up on top of years, what once meant a lot to you, which was reputation, what once meant a lot slowly fades into the darkness, and you don't even care no more about how you look, how you're perceived. Reputation, what people say or do or don't do or don't say. And that's where I found myself after years and years. I found myself like demoralized. A person that couldn't face himself. A person that nobody wanted. Everybody considered to be trash. This guy is a lost case. That's what people would say about me. I'm painting a picture for you because I'm no longer that individual, but it's a picture that it's authentic. It's where I come from. And God did a good work in me, but I only tell you that He did a good work on me to tell you that He wants to do a good work on you, but I'm going to give you the recipe of what I did. Number one, I let myself be worked on by God. So important. God is a God that it's like taking a car to the mechanic, right? You're like, hey, I need this, that, that. That's your prayers to God. I need this, and that. Mechanic's like, okay, I'm gonna loosen these bolts. I'm gonna get into the problem. And as the mechanic is working, loosening some bolts, the person's feeling some things going on. They're like, yeah, that feels a little uncomfortable. I don't much like this. And so they run to a distraction that helps ease the discomfort. It could be pills, it could be alcohol, it could be smoking, it could be sin altogether, you know, like pornography or whatever. These things are distractions to what's really going on the inside. Helps you to focus on something else while the real problem is there. Now, one of the things that you gotta do for God to work on you is that you gotta stop the games. You gotta stop the games. See, I had to allow the mechanic to work on me without moving, fidgeting, and changing my seats and moving around. No. Be still and stay the process. What I mean by that is that I felt like a fish out of water in church. You have no idea how uncomfortable I was in church in the beginning. Because I had a lot of demons. And the demons didn't want to be in church. So it felt like I wanted to peel out and run from this place and be comfortable in my room, in the bed, laying down, watching TV, not dealing with the problems. The mechanic wanted to get to work, and I was running. Always to that comfortability chair. You know, we all have that comfort place, right? I'm telling you, that place is deadly. That place will keep you from your dreams, keep you from your destiny, your calling, keep you the way you are right now forever, and keep you like that forever. I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I took myself to church whether I liked it or not, whether I felt like it or not. A lot of times, it was extremely hard. Painful. Like, I lived a lifestyle of being isolated in my room alone, and I loved it. In a sense, I loved it because I didn't have to give answers to people. I didn't have to talk, deal with people. I didn't have to, go through the whole interview process with people and them asking me questions and me having to look for answers. So that part, I liked it because it was freedom. It was like, all right, everybody's leaving me alone. I'm here. But the problem with that is that the demons were having a field day with me on the inside of my life. I was deteriorating on the bread. My life was passing me by day by day, turned into weeks by weeks, months and months, and years. I came to the point where enough was enough. I had to deal with what I didn't want to deal with. My Goliath was waiting for me, and I had to meet him outside in my uncomfortable place. I started doing things that I didn't feel comfortable with. I was lied to. I was told I can't stop drinking pills because I could have an anxiety attack. I was lied to by the devil. Fear ruled my life. Fear gripped me. It made me feel like I was boxed in. I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that, couldn't do this. But inside of me, I felt potential. I felt like I want out, I want freedom. So I kept declaring freedom for myself. And through those prayers, opportunities would arise. And the opportunities would arise in the form of an invitation to church, or somebody wanted to pray for me, or this or that. When those opportunities, when I took them up, I noticed that yes, it was a give and take. The take was, I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be comfortable at home. But the give was, I left the place feeling better than when I walked in. I started to get this little glimpse of hope. It was a glimpse. Like, maybe I can come out of this whole thing. Right? I'll never forget the day my brother told me God had delivered me from cocaine. God had delivered me from smoking. I used to smoke cohibas and blunts. And I'm not talking about blunts that have weed in it. I'm talking about, I used to smoke the blunt as is, because I graduated from cigarettes. I used to smoke Newports, and then Newports weren't giving me too much of a tug anymore. And I liked the harshness of the smoke, so I had to graduate from that, and I started smoking tobaccos, cigars. And God was working on me. So I told you guys in other videos how he delivered me overnight from cocaine. It was my main drug, and that thing had me. I did not have it. It had me. It was spiritual behind the scenes, let me tell you, okay? So he delivered me. I told you the story. I stepped on the bag in the bathroom. My wife put a decision on the table. She said, choose me or the drug. I've had enough. I chose her. I chose God. And there became the beginning and the beginning of the beginning of my walk with God. Because so many people want to like leave the story there. And I woke up the next day and I was delivered. You're right. I woke up the next day and I was delivered, but I had so much more to work on. Like, that was not my only issue. I had garbage bags of issues, and we were gonna have to deal with all this stuff. Okay, personality stuff, thought process stuff, like how I thought about myself, how I thought about life, how I thought about people, heart stuff that people did to me. I held resentment, grudges, hate, all that stuff had to come out. Violence, all that stuff, how I dealt with people, places, and things was dysfunctional. And so, like, yeah, I was delivered from drugs, but I've seen people get delivered from drugs and go back to them because they never dealt with the things that that are important. If you leave the seed in your heart, Satan will work with it, and he will work with it to the point where you come back. DMX, as an example, was delivered. DMX, he had a bad drug problem. He was delivered. He went on Dr. Phil. He was saying how he was clean and how he gave his life to God and how Satan was after him. And eventually he relapsed and then he died. He overdosed, right? That's his story. So that's the problem. You have to let the mechanic work on you. This is the way that this works is all in. And I was gonna say all out. But the thing is that some people want to ride the fence, right? And they want to put just enough in to where they're not all in, but not be all the way out to the point where they don't have a relationship with God. And so they like to mix and match. The Bible talks about how the devil works with that, right? See, this whole walk here is geared. It's set up. The devil, whatever you give him to work with, he's going to work with it. And he's going to try to pull you to his side. Now God, whatever you give him to work with, he's going to work with it and then pull you to his side. Now God said in the Bible, I have laid before you decisions, choices, blessings and curses, life and death. Choose life that you and your descendants may live. See, God, we think of him as somebody that's going to do it for you, and he's just going to take care of business and all in one shot. Everything's going to be glorious overnight and blah, blah, blah. I don't deny that God has that power, but he doesn't work that way. He does not operate like that. God literally works on a step-by-step, detail-by-detail basis. Some things are downloaded inside of you where you didn't work for it. It was God's grace. He just downloaded it inside of you. Now you have something you didn't have before. Just boom. Just, man, I don't know. It could be an inspiration. It could be a clarity. It could be understanding about something you didn't have before. It could be thoughts, pictures. Come on. It could be anything. But it was a download. That's the way that God works. Everybody loves that best. If you had, when I describe to you all the choices that God, all the ways that God moves, you're gonna choose the download. Everybody does. But look, there's other ways that God works, and this is the process. I made a video earlier today talking about the process, and the process literally deals with your character. It deals just like let's use the mechanic thing again, or a plumber, or a handyman. Just like a handyman deals with bolts and nails and screws when he's gonna build something. It's the same with you. God builds you like how a carpenter will build a house. He builds you. You feel like you're being built up. It doesn't happen. The whole house it's not created in one step. I know that we want it to be that way, but it's not like that. God works with your attitude, with your mentality, with your heart, with your soul. He heals you. He delivers you. He sets you free according to how much you play ball with God. You give God your energy and your time, you're going to get more out of the deal than if you give it to Xbox. Period. You give God your prayers, that's an initiation, but that's not the end of the story. If you give God your prayers, then He will open up an avenue for you to pursue His will. At that point, you take it. Then the devil will present to you shortly after his will, and that's when the test comes to be that you should resist it, resist the temptation, resist the avenue of taking the road of destruction. You should shun it, you should close that door and continue on the narrow road with God. If you pass that test, God will show you the next phase and the next step. Usually there's a blessing in it for you. So basically, good job. I'm happy that you didn't take the road to destruction. I'm happy that you're learning, you're understanding that the devil's not your friend and that that way is not the right way. Here's a blessing. God blesses you. And then you start to be inspired. The inspiration goes to your head and you're like, man, God's good. Yes, He is. He is good. And so then you start to operate and you start to get into this church thing, and then you start to say, hey, it's not that bad, you know? Start to get into it in ways that you're serving at church, and you start to see the blessings come in. God's blessings are there to affirm you, say you're on the right track, my son, my daughter. I'm proud of you, and the blessings are coming in. People are coming at you in church, and they're giving you different blessings, and you're saying, wow, now you're getting into it. The devil has not given up. He's watching, lurking, prowling like a lion, seeking a good opportunity to devour you. So the enemy is talking to your old buddies, your old friends, and he's putting you on their minds. And he's telling them, hey, why don't you give this person a call? You haven't talked to them in a long time, you know? Hey, look, you have extra drugs. You know, you can share with them. They're inspired. They don't know that the devil's talking to them. They just think it's their own thoughts. They think that, hey, look, yeah, I haven't seen, you know, Joseph in a long time. Yeah, let me give him a call. You get a call. You don't even have that person on your contact list. So you answer. You're like, hey. You're like, yo, what's up, bro? Long time no see. I got your number from so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. And you're thinking to yourself, oh, snap. Man, that's crazy. I haven't talked to you in a long time, you know? You want to catch up, right? Like, yo, you have no idea. I came up, bro. I want to share it with you. All that stuff, right? And so then, that's the test right there, right? That's how the devil operates. These are the phases in the testing that happen when you're on the road with God, when you're on the walk with God, the journey with God. That's how the devil comes and tries to creep in back into your life. If you fall for it, you've digressed, you're taking steps back from God at that point. God is now working to get back into your life. God doesn't give up. The devil doesn't give up either. They both don't give up until the very end of your life. Okay? So then God, let's say you take the, let's say that you fall for the trap, okay? Because so many people do. That particular test, people fall for it because peer pressure, temptation of something that you love, the illusion that it's going to be a great time, the catching up that makes you feel guilty if you say no, and then the feeling that I'll just come back to church tomorrow, the justification of it all seals the deal. And then you're like, all right, I'll meet you up in so-and-so place. It was a big trap. Big trap. And the way that goes is that you go, you do the drugs, blah, 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 blah. That communication with that individual, it ends maybe that same day. Not because there was a fallout, not because there was a fight or an argument, just because it was an assignment from the devil. He got you to fall And so that person is now moving on as if they never had that experience with you because they were just being used to begin with. It wasn't them. It was a demon operating through that person to get you to fall on. Assignment complete, check mark, moving on. So now you're feeling guilty, shameful, condemned. So you're saying to God, I'm sorry I fell, please take me back, etc. And you have all that contamination in your life now. The devil is shaming you and telling you all kinds of stuff like, God's not going to take you back, he don't love you, all that stuff that the devil does. And God, at this point, is looking at your heart, seeing how he can get you to trust him more, how he can get you to leave this life so that you stop hurting your own self. How can I get you to realize that this is not the way? If you keep falling for it, but I need you to get to the point of recognition, of realization, a place where it's deep down, it's ingrained in the depth of your soul that this is not for me anymore. This is death, and I don't want to partake with that. God is like strategizing. Him being God, he can like take some things out, put him in your mind kind of thing, shift some things in your heart. So each and every experience that you have, Romans 8:28 says that God will turn it around for the good. So meaning, yeah, you did a sin, it was bad, it corrupted you, but God is turning it in such a way where you can learn something from it so that you don't want to do it again, right? And so that's about the only good thing that comes out of falling, right? You feel bad, you don't want to do it again, and so God encourages you not to do it again by affirming you in the way that you should go and say, don't do that again. Takes you back, and then that process, my cousin as an example, unfortunately, she just never got out of it. She never did. See, her name is Malai. And she got baptized with us, and we prayed for her many times. She got delivered from demons, but she never wanted to let go of the lifestyle of the devil. Every time that the devil knocked on her door, she opened the door. She let him in. She thought that the devil was her friend. So her story is different. She's a story that God wanted to help. She's not dead. So God is still gonna attempt to help her. I don't know where she's at today, but it's a sad story because she has so much potential. She has an amazing calling on her life. She's so like, man, you have no idea. She has so much going for her, and yet she gives it to the devil and drugs and this and that. So it's sad. But she doesn't want to. She'll tell you that she wants to be free, and then so she's in a battle. She's in a war. But there comes a point in time where you have to make the devil your enemy, and make the drugs your enemy, and make anything that's in the way that they use your enemy. And it takes that fierceness, that hatred, that you're my enemy. It takes that to resist it when it comes knocking. Because if you have any love or any like emotional like you lean on it, you go to it, and this and that, that's always gonna be, you have to make that your enemy. You have to shift and change that. You have to be completely against it. It's the only way to really be free. Because once God delivers you from the demon, delivers you from the symptoms, then it's your opportunity and your job, your responsibility to sustain yourself away from all that. But it takes a hatred for that to stay away from it, to want nothing to do with it. So you have to stay away from the places that trigger you, from the people that do it. It takes that, like, I resist it. Resist the devil, submit to God, and he will flee. The devil will flee. Submit to God, resist the devil, he will flee. So anyways, guys, it's 30 minutes in. I have so much more to say, but the point here that I'm trying to make is that live a purpose, full life ahead. Direction, a compass of knowing right from wrong, and understanding that certain behaviors get you certain funks. You're in the funk, you're in the pit, and it's like there's decisions that oppose the pit, and those are the decisions that you're going to have to start to make. So going to church opposes the pit. Those are the decisions you're gonna have to make on purpose, and you have to train yourself to change your life, because it's obvious that you're not used to that. It's different. The flesh says, I don't want to be here, but it's what it takes to change your life. It's what it takes. It's necessary. It's just what you have to do. But after a while of doing it, just like after a while of working out, you start to like it. In the beginning, you're like, man, I'd much rather eat Doritos and watch TV than get on a treadmill. Oh yeah, I get that. But as you get on the treadmill more and more, those Doritos to you look like the enemy. You stop my growth. Every time I take a bite of you, you set me back. You know? You're in my way of progress, of where I want to be in life, of my goals, of my future. And you grab those bag of Doritos and you say, enough is enough. It's me or it's you. And I choose me over the Doritos, over the Coke, over the pills, over the smoking, over the drinking, over the party life. Right? So you gotta do that in order to be free.